Hello and welcome. This is Julie Silver Stitches here on Flosstube and on Instagram. Welcome to a cold and snowy day in the Eastern Ontario region in Canada. So cold, it's like minus 23 or 25 or some kind of craziness with the wind chill. And a little bit snowy, but not as snowy as the rest of the continent, I guess you can say. I know that the states, are going through a cold snap, snowy snowcopalypse situation, so good luck. I hope everybody is doing as well as they can. Hopefully, if you do lose power, you won't lose power for more than necessary. But yeah, we're just holding on here, just like your average regular winter here in Ontario, Canada. So, before I start, I made actual real coffee today out of a percolator and everything. And this is my mug that I chose for today. This is my Pisces mug. I am a Pisces. So February 19th to March 20th. And I'm left-handed, so you can see it, but I cannot. Needs to be a little bit stronger, but I don't make coffee, so therefore, who knows. All right. I'm just going to read what it says, because I feel like that is me, 100%. So, you have a creative mind and a vivid imagination. This leads you to believe you are being followed by space aliens. You think only of yourself and hold others in contempt. Most Pisces go into politics. Well, okay, maybe that's not as true as I thought it was, but it's what it is. Still a Pisces, still very creative, still very, for the whole mind. So yes, some traits are like that. Other traits, I got this gift, this mug in grade 6. So when I was 12. Now I'm 43, so it's lived with me for my entire life almost, and I'm not getting rid of it. So there's that. That's Simon, if you can hear him. James is also playing a game that he's absolutely 100% obsessed with. So if you hear some random character that you don't hear normally in the background, then that's why. I don't even, it starts with an O. It's like an octagon, but it's not. It's an RPG. Anyways, life happens. Welcome. So my name's Julie, by the way. This is a channel primarily about cross stitch, but you haven't figured that out yet because I haven't said anything about cross stitch yet. But here we go. Are you ready? Did I stitch? Yes. Did I work on things I said I was going to? Not necessarily. So let's go from the beginning of my alphabet, because I go in alphabetical order. Just makes sense in my brain. I don't stitch in alphabetical order. I just have my tablet here, and so everything's listed in alphabetical order, and I write my progress down. It's an Excel sheet. Yeah, so it's an Excel sheet. I just have all my information. Anyway, and it's the brightness that I need, so I'm not going to change it. Okay, so first one up is Autumn Fairies. This is by Karen Middleton of Heaven and Earth Design. It is a retired chart. It was a freebie at one point, and what I decided to do for all my stitching this week, except for two projects, but there are reasons, to get everything that I was working on, at least what I touched this week, to a rounded number of 00 or 000. So rounded up to the closest 500 or rounded up to the closest 1,000. So this one got rounded up to the closest 1,000. So I put in only 100 stitches, but that was all that was needed for Autumn Fairies. And so now I'm at 8,000 stitches and 43.24%. So I'll fold it in half because that's what I worked on. Stitched a little bit more in here, stitched that whole dark black eye section, and then that was 100 stitches. So now I'm at 8,000 stitches, and yeah, so this is one of my, if not my oldest full coverage, and that's all I got. So it has been fun. Yeah. I think it's like 18,000 stitches in total. So, I mean, 10,000 more maybe? 18 something at least, I think. Anyway, so we're rounding down on that one for sure. So that's at 43.24%. The next one is going to be Mini Beginner Seashell by Kayomi Hirai of Heaven and Earth Design. It is still there. This is the Mini Beginner. So the regular chart is just called Seashell, I learned. You can get a mini seashell and you can get a mini beginner seashell. I don't know what the difference is. I didn't look into it, but it is what it is. I ended up putting 200 of my longest stitches that I've ever had to do into this one. This now is at 15,000 stitches, so that's great, and at 59.29%. So I'm going to move this box that's beside me so I can actually have some shoulder space. Anyway, anyway, there we go. Okay, so you can see that maybe I worked on the top half again. So I ended up stitching in all of this blue. So fun fact, I got a page finish. Do you see it? That's what happened this morning. I got a page finish. So one page out of all of the 4 pages, but one page finish, that's where this little arm comes around. And so that is the page finish. So hooray! First page finish after 15,000 stitches, but that's okay. So this is the whole thing in total. You can go get her right now. I think she's still there. On Heaven and Earth Designs, Kayomi Hirai. She's been super fun to stitch. Not my oldest project, but I think I started her the Labor Day weekend that we ended up first getting the trailer. 2023? 22? I think it was 23. All right. This one, so Labor Day is, in September, if you don't know. September 2023. The next piece that I have is Mini Dragon in the Morning. You can also still get this on the Heaven and Earth Design website. The artist is Randall Spangler. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And to round it up to 16,500, I had to put in 224 stitches, getting me to 15.57%. So this is where we last saw. I had finished that off. Now I am playing. Now we're on this corner. Playing Thread Begone. What's that called? Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, is doing it with Alara and a few other people. Anyway, I think Thread Begone is what it's called, where you're getting rid of your parked threads. So this piece definitely is number 1 for my parked threads. I have unparked everything else, but I think this is the only one that is remaining with the parked threads. So that is my number 1 Thread Begone project. But yes, I am quite enjoying the fact that I am now on the second, actually not on the second row. It is, so this was 5 down, so I think I moved another two columns down, two blocks down, so that's down to 70. So I am close to no, that's at like 98 or something, right? So I'll do another 2 when I get past that whole row and then be able to have page finishes going all the way across. That will be exciting. Not this round, but next round I will make it so. All right, so next up on my thing that I decided to do for you, I put 300 stitches into Fractal Bookmark 53. I wasn't going to, so now Fractal Bookmark 53 is by Cross Stitch Collectibles. This is Charlotte. She's not happy to be here right now. She wanted to sit on all my stuff, but I grabbed her because you don't see her very often. She growls at everything. Don't worry about it. She's not actually grumpy. It's just how she communicates. You say hi to the people? go step on my stuff. Don't worry about it. So she kicks me out of the bed in the morning because that's her spot to sleep. And then she kicks me out of my stitching chair that I stitch in now because that's her spot to sleep. So clearly she can't have the whole house. I'm not allowing it. But apparently I do. Okay, so maybe it just needs sugar? I don't know. Anyway, what were we doing? Oh yeah, Cross Stitch Collectibles. This was a freebie, the bookmark chart, the bookmark fractal 53. Cross Stitch Collectibles from a while ago. You can still, I think, last time I checked, you can still go on their website and purchase the full chart of this, but this is just the bookmark size. Yes, I put in 300 stitches to get to 3,500, and I kind of got a little bit of a milestone here because Julie is... Anyways, here we go. So this, where that blew up there, is the top. It's the top. These top stitches up there are along the top of the chart. So I have reached the top and bottom. I've reached the left and right. So that is as big as it's going to be. Massive, of course, but yeah. So I'm currently color completing, just like always. And so I'm almost done the 820. I think I have 30 something more stitches left. So 30 something more stitches, 38 maybe of that 820, and then I'll pick another color from the center and spiral my way outward. Who knows what I'm going to do with any of these when they're done, but you know, they'll just join the rest of my collection that I have finished. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, so that will be a full coverage when it is done, but here we go. Next will be Pokemon Starters. This is a chart by Cross and Floss on Etsy. You can still get it, and it is now Pattern Keeper compatible. So, hooray. No issues. I had to end up putting in 300 stitches in order to get to 7,500, which is now at 40.63%. So I added another percent. So I am now at 40% of Pokemon Starters. So I finished adding in the hanging thread that was over here. Yep, that's loose. Okay. Okay, so we're going to split this up into two. Okay, so I finished adding in the thread over here onto Quilava. No, Quilava is the second form, isn't it? I did it again. Last time I showed this, I was like, I don't know idea what it is. And then Quilava. Cyndaquil. Okay. And then this one over here, I added the majority of the 200 stitches up into this 704, whatever that lime green color is. Yeah, to get to 7,500. So this is Grookey, and then this is going to be one that I don't play very often because it's never, he's not, I don't usually start with grass. I'll put it down here. I can't remember it all right now. So, but that's that. That's 40.63%. So, hooray. Again, I started this a while ago, but if you continue just putting stitches in, a few stitches at a time, you get almost, you know, 40% of the pattern. Hooray! Alright, so next up is not what I thought it was. Okay, sorry. Is See You Later. See You Later by Happiness. It's another company on Etsy. I think you can still get it. And this one I ended up putting in 57 stitches to get to 3,500. So down here, 57 stitches. So now I'm at 37.52. So that's good. So this will say, take care, polar bear, down here. I could either go down here and say, take care, polar bear, or I could come up here and say something else, but I don't remember what it was up there. Anyway, but I decided to take care of the polar bear first because it's going to be white on white, and you know, I don't like doing that. That's going to be, get through it and go. That's what that's going to be. So yeah, I was able to go from 36.91 to 37.52, so in that 57 stitches. Alright, next is my Whip Wars with Tess stitches. Tess lives in Australia, I live in Canada. We spin a wheel and send it to each other. We film the wheel being spun, send it to each other, and is like, is it too soon? Can we do it yet? And we were able to get a lot done this week. Well, comparative, I guess. So I am now at 700. I put in 220 stitches this week, and it is now at 744 stitches, and here we are. So we are almost done. I am at 91.40%. This is done with Roxy Floss Co. floss. And it's on, I think it's a 32, but it now could be a 28. I don't know anymore. Count Mint Jubilee. Jubilee is the fabric type, but it's an even weave. Stitching 2 over 2. Yeah, so I was watching a stitcher this week, and she was talking about how the nomenclature of the stitching world has gone downhill. Are you ready for this? When you're talking about Aida, you don't need to say over 1 because that's presumed. When you're talking about linen and or even weave, you can say over 1 because when you say over 1, it's really talking about the amount of threads. Who knew? So she tried to, educate us younger stitchers in the way of how it used to be, because she is primarily a linen and even weave stitcher, and so I don't know. She said she was watching all of these younger stitchers not use the terminology properly, and so if you don't know, then you don't know, right? So apparently you only talk about over 1, over 2, whatever it is, if you're talking about linen and or even weave. Anyway, so yes, that is 2 over 2 on that 32 count even weave. Everything else so far, even though it's all been on Aida, is stitched with 2 threads as well. Okay. Next up. Alright, so these numbers are not right, and that's going to be okay with me, but it's the Wise and the Brave from Heaven and Earth Designs. It is the stitch along for this year. I went to sleep yesterday thinking at like 12:30, thinking that's it, I'm UFOing it, I'm not doing it anymore. I don't want to, because there's this section, and I'll show you the section, and it's not really that big, but it was big enough in my mind at 12:30 last night to be like, I can't do this. So I need to frog a section, which is fine, but I wasn't ready to pick out everything that needed to be frogged out, so I'll show you where that is. So these numbers are not right, so I said it's at 1400, but it's not at 1400, it's now more. But so this part in here, this is where I'm at now. But this part in here, this lighter tanny, whatever color that is, that greeny tanny color, that's not stitched right, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out how even to get it on my pattern to say, you know, oh, let's just say I stitched that. I couldn't even do that. So all this darker brown in here is all stitched wrong as well. And then that's where I just gave up last night. I was thinking, nope, no way, can't do it. Do I even like it enough to be able to stitch on it for all year? And then I remembered, I think if I do get it finished, I'm giving it as a gift. So I gotta persevere, and I gotta keep going. By the way, all of that nomenclature talk that I was talking about before was from Kay in the Cave of Possibilities. I've been watching her. She was my first Flosstuber that I started watching way back when. And she was definitely still filming, but she was filming more knitting, and now she's back onto crochet? No, knitting. She knits. She crochets? I can't even remember. I think it's crocheting. Could be knitting. I think it's crochet. No, it's crochet. Oh my goodness. So she crochets, but she is an at heart, you know, cross stitcher just like everybody else. And so now she is stitching more than she's crocheting. So I'm back watching her again. Anyways, she lives, somewhere in I don't even know how to, Utah maybe? Colorado? Somewhere over there. All right. Past that. Anyways. Okay. So yeah, so those numbers weren't right because I didn't even bother adding those extra stitches because I didn't know that I was going to keep going, and then that's what it is. So that it claims that I stitched 100 stitches. I'm going to have to rip out some of those prior. So that brought me up to 14,000. So 14,000, I wish. 1,400. So I was thinking that I was going to get up to 1,500 last night, but that didn't happen because then I decided to, but that was 12:30 at night, and I'm never stitching that late. So anyways, with the 1,400 stitches though, it's at 1.58%. And then my last piece, are you ready for my last piece? This is Minnie Watching the World Go By Lucy Pittaway. It is a retired chart from Heaven and Earth Design. Lucy Pittaway is no longer licensed for Heaven and Earth Design. But you can find it as a fully kitted object on Bothy threads, if you so choose to. This is Minnie Watching the World Go By. This was started in January 2022, and we are now at 90.86%. I added 413 stitches, and so now we are at 46,000. So I'm so close, but so far still. So 90.86%. I really need to get this box out of the way somehow. It's very frustrating because that's where I put my elbow, and the elbow is where the box is. The box from last week hasn't moved. Okay, so we're up. Started out here, and then keep going. Can I do this? Who knows? So yeah, so I was trying to color complete, trying not to color complete, trying to color complete, went back to another spot, didn't color complete. Yeah, so in all of that, I need this color down here for the green, and I don't have it anymore, so I'm going to have to go out and get more green. There's always more, isn't there? There's always something we're missing. Anyway, so yes, 413 stitches was added to that. So now, yes, I am at 46,000. 46,000 stitches. Crazy. At 90.86%. So I am going to stop here. Loosely talk about what I've been doing for how I want to proceed with my whips, because I still want to work on all of them. That's not the question. It's the approach on how I want to continue stitching on my whips. So I've tried temperature stitching this year. It didn't stick. I've tried whip go this year. I didn't really try, but it didn't really stick. I've tried this Flosstube Frenzy Didn't really try this year, but it was last year, but it didn't really stick. I couldn't keep on top of it, and I felt like, anyways, I'll talk about how I felt about all of these things after. And then I've tried this Milestone Manor. I still really want to keep trying on that. I want to keep trying, but all of those things, it's almost like as if I don't keep up with it, or if I miss a day, if I, especially for temperature stitching, if I missed a day, then the whole week is gone. I can't do anything for the rest of the week because I didn't do Mondays, therefore I can't do any more. That's kind of how I feel. But then again, stitches are stitches, right? So as long as you're still stitching. But for things like Milestone Manor, where the numbers were so like, how can I even possibly? No one said it was a race. So that's why I'm thinking about going back and trying again. So I might take all of the whips that I want to see finished in 2026. And I think there's 8 of them. I'll find, actually, is that house still over here? It is somewhere. Okay, hold on. The layout, week 1. The week 1 layout that I showed last week. I might follow that again. Put something like watching the world go by in the hallway. And then every other, there's 9 here. So we'll see how that goes. I might try that this week. Let's try that this week. Start at the entryway, go into the hallway. I think it's also when I do these, I'm forgetting the fact where I started, kind of thing. Like, oh, I did get another color finish. Oh, or I did get that page finish. Or, oh, I forget all of those things by the time I'm done stitching on it. So I need to be a little bit more cognizant of how that's going, maybe. What it's looking like before versus all my stats after. Oh, I did pass the X amount of percentage, or any of that kind of stuff. That's what I'm thinking I'm feeling on. And so if I don't remember to do that, then I'm not playing the game properly. And then it just spirals of, well, then I guess I can't do it at all because I'm not following along specifically. And somehow, for some reason in my head, that I can't. Anyways. But yes, otherwise, I think that's it for now. So I'm not telling you anything about what I'm going to be stitching for next week. All I know is that by next week, it's almost the end of the month, I'm hoping to have this one done, because the goal, I think, for Tess and I are to get it done. One of us, at least. I think I am winning in the spins, but I might spin a whole lot of lower numbers, and she might spin all the higher numbers and win in the end. Who knows? Not me. So that's the whole fun part about it. But past that, same old, same old. This week, next week, this past week, this upcoming week, and the next week, I'm working a little bit more than normal. So I'm working 4 days, not just 2 days, and so that takes out of stitching time and real life time and all of the things. So if I don't end up stitching like I normally do, then that's the reason why. But yes, other than that, I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Thank you for spending time with me. If you like what you saw and you're still here, like and subscribe. Leave a comment. What were you working on? What things in my whip list did you like the best this week? I didn't work on any of the new starts that I had from last week because I figured that was the other thing. Hold on. So I also have, this is how I kind of decided this week. I had made 3 wheels, each with about 10 projects on them. I had a 500 stitch wheel, which is what I focused on this week, the 500 stitch wheel, to get everything rounded up to the 500. I had a thread a day wheel. So anything with the block stitching, anything like, the See You Later, because that's a lot of the same color in one go, or the Fractal 53, or Sunflower Cottage, or any of those ones. Anything that has like that block stitching that I'm stitching upon, stitching upon, stitching upon, for forever. Same color. So thread a day. Or the other one is Stitch to 100. So that was all of my new starts. So I had to round everybody up to 100 if I'm not there yet. And then, after that, get everybody on the 100 stitch rotation just to put some progress in. Which way do you like better? Would you like to see fewer projects potentially on Milestone Manor, but maybe more stitches? Or do you want more projects with less stitches? It really is how I feel per day. Maybe that will be how it goes, how I feel per day. I feel like working on, who knows. Anyways, this was just under 30 minutes when I started rambling about my last thing. Now it's just over 30 minutes, so I'm going to say sparkle and shine. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you for being here with me, and I will see everybody later. Bye, everybody.